For the love of Christ urges us on, because we are convinced one has died for all. It's been a rough week. As we met last week, the horrific details of what had happened in Orlando were starting to come out. Details that have been chilling and that have sparked conversation around the country, ramped up conversations about gun control, sexuality, and religion. A year ago, it was Charleston, at an AME church during a Bible study when a young white kid walked in and took 9 lives. A young white kid who certainly was not an active member, but who was on the roll of a local Lutheran congregation. The other day it was in Great Britain, where a young female lawmaker who dared to speak passionately about the need to save the lives of orphan Syrian refugee children was cut down in public by a man with neo-Nazi ties. Britain is not used to this sort of thing. Unfortunately, we are. And what have we been doing around here this week? Aside from all the usual stuff, we've been getting ready for Bible school. We love Bible school around here. I love it. I get to sing songs, silly songs, jumpy songs that inspire what we call the preschool mosh pit. Songs I usually sing with a foot clamped down on my microphone stand so some little one doesn't take out my teeth. And it struck me as we were getting ready for all of this, and for the simple lessons we'll give our kids, that some of it might seem trite in the wake of a world that is hurting so much. Because the lessons are stuff like, gonna walk with my Lord. I love Jesus, He loves me, just the way I am. God's got the whole world in His hands. I'm going to live the gospel way. Be kind, be fair, be humble. Little lessons all through the week. Little lessons we're hoping that will prepare our kids for life in a world that has gotten so complex. And it made me wonder, is this really enough? Well, the answer didn't come at first. But when it did, the answer was yes. The lessons are exactly what our kids need. These lessons will prepare them to enter a world that is hurting. These lessons will carry them through. These lessons will help them to make a difference. The lessons are enough for them. The lessons are enough for us. The problem is that they, like us, will tend to grow up. And then sometimes they will forget. They will grow up and see the complexity of the issues facing this world. They'll get caught up in their personal needs. They'll get concerned about what's right or lawful. And they'll get caught up in things like, I want what is mine. And they will, like us, sometimes forget. The simple lesson of Bible school, the simple lesson of everything we do here is God loves you. God loves us. Go live out that love. The lesson's simple enough. And it is enough. The problem is we grow up and we get confused. We get caught in the vortex of the complexity of everything and miss the simple truth that would give us the solutions. What we are seeing in this country, in this world, is a love crisis. There is not enough love. Not at all. Case in point, that Charlotte shooter, he had been telling people for weeks he was going to kill people. African American people in particular. And none of the people had the decency, the concern, the love to report him. The love to take him seriously. The love to save him from himself. The love to save others from him. They did not live out the love. You know, one of my favorite memes out there, do you know what a meme is? You know, it's a picture, and people put words on it, usually humorous. Well, it shows Jesus, looks like the Sermon on the Mount, and Jesus is saying, I want you to love all people, no matter what they look like, no matter if they're your enemies, no matter if you disagree with them. And then, of course, a little voice from the crowd comes in and it says, but Jesus, what if they ... and that ... that's one of the hot button issues of our day. And Jesus replies, did I stutter? The simple lesson of all that we do here is live out God's love. But we get caught in that vortex and we forget. And the world forgets. The world has forgotten. And we have a love crisis. Here's the thing about love. Real love, it silences the little voices in our heads. You know those voices? I don't like those people, but I want what I want. But this is only right. I want my way. I was here first. Those people scare me. I want what he has. Those little voices and all the little voices like them, they get in our heads and they convince us not to love. And sometimes they do it in a way where we barely even are realizing it. And the result is, well, eventually we see others as other, as not part of the human family. You know, that shooter in Orlando, he, even as it seems he was struggling with his sexuality, did not regard LGBT folk as part of the human family. And sadly, I saw at least 2 videos on Facebook this week of Christian pastors almost applauding what he did, basically agreeing with him. That shooter in Charlotte, that murderer in Great Britain, the same. We do it too. We do it to folk in much less extreme ways, but we do it every time we see someone, pardon me, as less than ourselves, less than our loved ones. We do it every time we see someone as a thing and not as a person. And then we all contribute to the love crisis. We have a name for this, by the way. It's called sin. I have a challenge for all of us this week. It's going to be an easy challenge for those of us at VBS, but it's a challenge for all of us. Get a little younger. Maybe there's a song from your childhood. Maybe there's a kid's story. Maybe there is a poem that tells you the great, simple, eternal truth: live in love. Hum it, repeat it, remember it. If you don't have one, just keep repeating to yourself, live in love, live in love. Hug it like it's a teddy bear that you held as a child, and then do it. Do not contribute to the love crisis, because only one thing can solve it, and that is love. Am I saying that you suddenly have to agree with everybody about everything? Of course not. But remember, when we demonize others, or when we allow people to be demonized, we let people be seen as things. We let them be seen as other. And we feed the monster. And as we have seen, the monster has teeth. A last thought, worthy perhaps of the simplicity and the depth of Bible school. The questioner asks, how do we regard others? The master responds, there are no others. When the world embraces this, the love crisis will end.